Hello everyone, I hope you are having a sunshine, wonderful day. I cannot wait to share with you this fantastic project. It is one of my absolute favorites. What's wonderful about this project is it gets us thinking again about how to use materials the correct way and thinking about our elements of art. We heard about the elements of art last year together. I'm sure you might remember a few. The element that we're going to be talking about for today is going to be shape. Alrighty. For this project, we have a few different materials here. We have this fantastic grid. This is a 4x4 grid. 4 times 4 is 16, and these are already made for you. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You also have glue, these really awesome pieces of paper, a pair of scissors, a glue mat, of course, to keep your workspace nice and clean, and a packet, which is going to be very helpful. For this lesson, we're going to be creating one of these. Now, there might be a few things that you notice about these. One thing that comes into my mind is shape. What's the shape that you noticed most? I see some squares being created. I see triangles. But the shape that we see used most is absolutely the triangle. What do you think these are supposed to be? If you thought they looked like a quilt, you're correct. This is a more advanced version of a Quilt Square lesson that we have done in the past. Now, quilts are a blanket. Quilts have been made for a very long time. They were first made by the pioneers and they were used for so many different things. I'm going to be providing you with more information about quilts and their history on a PowerPoint presentation. But our activity is going to be to create our very own Quilt Square design using the materials that we have. So the first thing that we are going to focus on in creating our Quilt Square is these really awesome pieces of paper. Now, these are actually pieces of wallpaper, and what's really cool about them is they have a texture. Texture is another one of our elements of art. Texture, as you might remember, is how something feels. Let's count all the pieces that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 really cool square pieces of paper that I've pre-cut for you of all different designs and textures. So you might want to feel those and look at them while you're going through them. Now, our job is going to be to transform one shape into another shape. We've done this in the past before. What we want to do is take this 4-sided square and turn it into 2 3-sided triangles. You might remember how to do this, but we're going to go over it together, okay? If I cut here, is that going to make 2 triangles? No, that's going to make 2 rectangles. If I cut here, is that going to make 2 triangles? Nope, that's also going to make 2 rectangles. What if I hold my square like a diamond? And I cut from the bottom to the top. Is that going to make a triangle? This is going to make 2 triangles. Let's try it out. So I'm holding from the side like a diamond. I'm making sure to cut safely from the bottom point to the top point. Ready? This is not a race. Go nice and slow. Art is not a contest or a race. Just go at your own pace. And I was able to cut 2 triangles. So So again, hold it like a diamond. That's always what helps me, and you're gonna cut from the bottom to the top. So here I go again. And you wanna make sure they're nice and clean. Now, another way that might help you is by folding your square and then opening it. Now I have a line. You might be able to see it better on the back side, but now I have a line where you can see two triangles. So maybe you want to fold. You do not have to do this method. This might help some of us a little bit more than others. Sometimes things are a little bit easier for others and harder for others. So that's two different ways that you can create your two triangles, either by folding or by just cutting from bottom to top. Whichever way is easier for you, you use. We use different strategies to get things done. So my job is to just continue cutting these, holding it like a diamond. Again, not a race, go slow, take your time. This is not about speed. This is just learning how to use materials again, getting used to them, using craftsmanship. Craftsmanship is when artists make their artwork look its very best by going slow and doing a nice job with cutting, gluing, and thinking about the design they want to choose for their artwork. Oops. So there are all my triangles. Wow, look at all of that. So I'm gonna keep this all nice on off to the side. While I cut, I made sure to just keep them in a nice pile. You don't want them to all get spread out because you might lose some of them. So keep them all nice in their own little spaces. Now we're on to the fun part. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my glue out of the way because right now I'm brainstorming. These are all different unique designs that I used to create my quilt square. And it all took thinking in different ways. What you're going to use is this packet that I made for you. Think about what type of quilt square design you like best. Try some. There are a bunch of different quilt square designs that you might want to try on your own. Putting together one of these designs is almost like a puzzle. This packet is yours to keep. You can highlight a one that you might want to work on or circle one you might want to work on. So don't worry about marking it up. If there's certain ones you want to focus on, circling it is going to be easier for you to find. Feel free to do that. Okay? Here's another page of them. Here are some more. Try your best. So these are more designs that you might want to try. Okay? So what I think that I want to do is I would like to try, and I'm keeping this in front of me. This is my guide. It's very helpful. I think I want to try this one, okay? So I'm going to take my triangles and I'm going to start putting it together like a puzzle. Now this can be a little bit tricky. It might take a little bit of time. Some of these designs are a little bit more challenging than others, but try your best. Try at least 2 or 3. Maybe you want to try all of them before you glue, but we are not gluing right now. We are just thinking about the design that we might want to do. So I'm doing this one here, okay? Now I'm going to move over to that part. So I see that those they point out, so that's not right. I need to turn this. So you might have to turn your triangles to really make it work, okay? And this is just go nice and slow, not a race. Maybe you want to turn on some relaxing music while you work. I love listening to music while I work. It helps me focus so much. And just take your time. Now there might be some pieces you might not want to use. That's okay. You do not have to use all of your pieces. Oh, I love these lily ones. Wow. So maybe I don't like those two pieces. Maybe they're a little bit too bright, so I might move those off to the side, and maybe I want to replace them with these. Think about your design. I'm thinking like an artist. There we go. Now maybe I want these two to go over here. Maybe that'll match up better and I will like that pattern more. This is all about thinking. If I glued right away, I wouldn't be able to do that. So there's one design. Now, maybe I want to try another one, so I'm just gonna pour those off. And I think I'm gonna try this one here, okay? So I am going to follow this one now. It's like a puzzle. Go slow. Some of them are challenging. Try them. You have plenty of time to be able to work on this. It is not a race. Maybe you want to take some deep breaths while you're working. That's a nice way to get yourself just nice and relaxed while you work. And I'm following it like a puzzle. And again, some of these designs are a little bit trickier than others, but you can see that I'm using my grid to keep those pieces just lined up. And again, I'm still working on this one. And look at that. Now the middle looks a little empty to me, so maybe I want to add something to the middle here. So maybe I'm adding a little bit of my own ideas to my quilt square. Oof, that looks awesome. I am super happy with this design. Now I'm going to glue. I thought about it first. I didn't jump right into gluing. Now, you might want to think a little bit more than I do, and you can choose whatever design you want. Don't choose the same design as me. You guys are such creative thinkers. I want to see what you come up with. So now for the gluing. When we glue, make sure your glue stick isn't wound up all the way up here. Whoa, way too high up there. You only need a little bit of your glue stick showing. You're going to do all of your gluing on your glue mat. We're not going to glue directly on the grid. Okay, all of our gluing is going to be on our shapes. So here we go, ready? I'm putting glue on all of the corners because if there's spots that don't have glue, it's not going to stick down. And I'm lining it up the best I can in the grids. Now it might get a little mixed up as you work. That's okay. Just look back at your packet that you have. It's very, very helpful. Again, you want to make sure your pieces are nice and flat. And you can see that I'm doing all of my gluing on my glue mat. Now there might be, if you keep gluing in the same spot, it might start getting a little bit sticky. So maybe you want to move over a little, move your square over a little bit so you have a little bit more space to glue. That's okay. So if you keep gluing in the same exact spot, your pieces might stick a little bit. And again, never glue on your table. Use your mat. That's going to keep your stuff nice and neat. It's going to make your cleanup so much easier because this mat is meant for messes. That's why it's your art mat. Giving it a little push. And as you can see, mine's gotten a little bit mixed up. That's okay. I just keep looking back at my design that I have here, and that's going to help me. And again, go slow. It's a nice, slow activity. It's not a race. Make sure your pieces are nice and stuck down. That is really, really important. You don't want any of your beautiful pieces of your quilt flying away. Now, traditionally, quilts are made out of fabric and they were sewn. This project is a no-sew project. As you guys know, we're using paper, but they were made from little pieces of fabric or old pieces of clothing. The pioneers did not want to waste any bit of the materials that they had. They used everything that they had to make new things. So quilts are a really, really wonderful way that the pioneers just used their extra fabric and pieces to create something beautiful, unique, and new, and functional as well. So we're almost there. We have a couple more pieces. We are so close to being finished. Now, this looks exactly the same, but I might want to add that part in the middle. So I think I am going to add that part in the middle. It adds just a little last bit of detail that I think is going to make it look even better. And there is my finished quilt square. Now I want to check to make sure all of my pieces are glued down really nicely. We don't want anything sticking up. If you have corners that are coming up, you can just add a little glue. So I see right here, see how that's coming up just a tiny bit? What you're going to do is you're going to take your glue, add a little bit of glue to that corner and hold it down. So check your craftsmanship. And there's your beautiful quilt square. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Please make sure to take a picture of your quilt square and send it to me. I cannot wait to see it. Make sure you think like an artist, try a few different designs, and really, really focus on good craftsmanship. Enjoy!